So I just got back from church and I just want to talk about what the sermon was about today. The main thing I want to focus on today is being rich in spirit. An idea that we've talked about a lot is how that which we gain here in the flesh and of the world is temporary. It's not going to be forever, but what God gives us in our spirit is forever. So in a way, being rich of spirit includes the peace and joy that God gives us, which doesn't count on what our situation or circumstances. Yes, of course we trust in God to do what is best for us, but it also means that when we go through a rough season, that maybe when we go through a bad storm or trial, that we still trust, but not just trust, but still praise. In our own relationship with God, praising God at every point of our lives when we're in bad season and good seasons. But also it talks about being rich in spirit, how the Lord's light is going to shine through us. So of course being rich in spirit means following the Lord's commandments, but also being godly, which is something else we've talked about a lot. So being humble and also feeling deep emotion and compassion for other people, having the same righteousness and justice of the Lord. So caring for people almost as much. No, truthfully, we're gonna fall short in this aspect, but we should care more about others than we even do about ourselves. Like God, we should be willing to put our lives down on the line for a stranger because that's what God did to us. Of course, God knows each and every one of us, but we should have that level of compassion because we all know that we go through suffering. Everyone feels suffering, so we understand the suffering of others in a sense. Maybe not the exact same way. The same way I don't understand the suffering you're going through, you don't understand the suffering I'm going through, and it's like that for everybody. But we know of suffering. We know there is suffering in the world, so we can be with each other. And another another interesting idea is how just being rich in spirit matters so much more than being rich in like physically, in money, in wealth. It says, my pastor quite literally said how it is, you can be poor in money and in everything and of this world, but you will be much more wealthy. Much wealth monetarily means nothing. You don't take any of that with you. What you always have is your spirit. And what can truly talk to people isn't money, but our spirits. With our spirits is how we connect to people. When you're trying to connect to someone, don't try to just connect to them in body, but try to connect to them in spirit, to speak to them in spirit, not just what they want to hear, but what they need to hear in Christ, and just be there for one another in Christ. So being rich in spirit doesn't just mean having a good faith in God, but also just following his commandments, bearing his fruit, protecting yourself and others from sin, and just being with everybody always, all in the name of Christ and all by his glory and grace.